So this is a completely new habitat for me. We're up in the boreal forest. You can see beautiful blue lake. And so for seed collecting, I'm just looking at different things that are here. And here we've got a little berry, nice and red, so you know it's ripe. And let's crush it down and see. We don't know if this is poisonous. I'll have to look it up later. And so there you are. There's a little white berry. And so what I'm looking at is, okay, if I was seed collecting, is this a solid seed? Could, as you can see, it breaks easily. So it's not one that you could use for your blender. You'd have to soak it in water, and then you'd have to run it over a screen and some water to get it clean, because the seed's too soft for the blender. And what else have we got here? There's lots of different species. Oh, look what we got here. There's some wild lupin. You can see the pods are broken open, but here's one that's not open. Lupins are tricky because you really have to get the timing right, and just squeezing the pod, I can tell that there's nothing in the pod right now. They'd have nice big seeds, and the problem is that they explode right away, so you have to have a good timing on that, and that's where your chart comes in handy. Let's see what else we got here. Here's a little woody plant. Kind of looks like desmodium, but not. So it's got these little bean-like things. So it's probably a nitrogen fixer. And so inside each one of these, you can just strip it off like that in your hand. And each one of those is a seed. And you can go further by grinding it up, and then eventually you can take off the seed pod, but it's not really necessary. This will just be, you can probably cold moist stratify this and just seed it. And let's take a look. What else have we got here? There's another shrub. And you see, we've got these berries here, nice and red. And he just takes one and, oops, see what we got here. Oh, not very much. It's disintegrated to nothing. This one's got a couple flat seeds in it. And the seed's fairly hard, so you can probably run this through your blender. When you do your blender, of course, you're putting tape on the blades, so you're just beating the seed, not cutting it. So like most of the berries, I just put it in water, and depending on what you're doing, you can either put it in water or you can put it into a tray right away, cover it with vermiculite, probably about from the size of the seed, you can probably put a ½ centimeter to a centimeter of vermiculite over top of it, and leave it over winter, and it'll come up. So just having the skills as a seed collector and as an ecologist, you can just look around, and even in a habitat that you don't know, you've got all sorts of species here. You know, you've got lots of berries and lots of different things that are coming up, that are coming into seed. And to chart that, usually what I do is I write the species down, and then across the top I'll have the dates. I go by month and then divide it by 4. So week 1, week 2, week 2, 3, and week 4. And you just have that across the top. And Then whenever you find something new, it's like, okay, this plant is in flowering. It's flowering right now, so you have your, this is like a Grassa parnassus. And you got goldenrods flowering right now. So you mark that down. And it looks like we have some sort of a sedum here as well. Looks like the sedum's pretty much in seed. I don't know if you can see that. The pods are breaking open. Here's one that's actually breaking open. You can see that. Yep. And I don't know if there's much seed in it. It might have gone already. But anyway, you can collect those and get a little bit of seed out of it. And then of course you got your grasses. They're nice and brown now, so you can just run your finger along it and you get this, the seed and the chaff. It's a little hard to see, but the brown seeds there mixed in like that's up here's some of the seed, and then the rest, a lot of the chaff there as well. So you can just winnow that and clean it out or run it through a screen. And I'll go over that in more depth later on, but that just gives you an idea as someone just moving into a unique habitat. There's another grass down here. It's just a wetland fringe here. So this is ready. It just strips right off. Yep. I just strip it right off like that. And then you can run it through a screen, winnow it, and that'll be your good seed. And of course, when you're seed collecting, there's a sense of you ask permission from the land before you begin. It's just it's not really a verbal thing. It's just thinking it in your mind, asking permission, and then you just kind of wait and listen with your senses, not looking for words. You're just looking for a sense of the place. You're using your intuition, and it's like, okay, yeah, I feel accepted here. This is a place that I can do my seed collection. And if you feel like I don't know, how do you explain it? I can't really say I've found very many places where I haven't feel safe or feel like it's a good place. Most places are willing. And so then usually when I was working with other indigenous people, they say to honor the plant, you don't pick the first plant that comes along. You just acknowledge it and you move on. And then when you find the second one, you can pick it. So it's just sort of an acknowledging the plant, respecting the plant. And whenever I collect seed, usually there's a promise as well. It's like, I'm taking your seed. I'm not leaving it for the wildlife. I'm going to be taking this and I'm going to be taking care of it. You know, this is your children. I'm going to be taking that back to my nursery, and I'm going to be growing it, and I'm going to be taking care of it, and I'm going to put it out somewhere that it's going to be safe. And then I'm going to do my best to grow those plants that I've collected, your children. So there's a kind of a promise that I make that I'm going to take care of these seeds, these children, for these plants, and look after them. And then you do your best to do that and put them in the right place so that they're going to thrive and reproduce and carry on that plant that you've collected the seed from.